I think 2025 was a year where people all over the United States kind of woke up to realize that life here isn't enough, spiritually, philosophically, just in reality, it's not enough for you. And I think that in 2026, people are going to have to come to terms with that realization and what it's going to take for them to find that kind of purpose, find that substance that life is supposed to be made of.
Man, I just get off of work and I just be in a daze. I don't know what it is, but there's a major part of me in my soul that does not want to participate in this shit anymore. Like I know we gotta survive. I know we need money. I know these things, you know what I'm saying? Like, and then on top of that, like I'm actually working a trade. I'm actually an electrician, apprentice, which is good, you know. But at the same time, I'm not satisfied. I don't know what it is, man. I don't know if it's because I'm losing attachments to this world and I'm not it just doesn't satisfy me anymore. It doesn't give me that sense of happiness like it used to. I don't know if it's because I'm with age, I'm 36. So maybe this is just a normal thought process, you know?
The mundane loop that we all live. I mean, it's we have a very cyclical life here in America, and it's not one that's fulfilling. Our day consists of waking up and going to work. The things that define us the most are our occupation. We don't have time for family or friends. And at some point, not just in life, but I think in culture, materialism just is not enough. I think when social media first really came about and Instagram really took off, it was a big problem with people seeing all these lifestyles and the idea that that's something that they should have, that it's an inevitability. If I just grind and grind and grind, I'll get those things. But what you realize is that you just grind and grind away at the time that you have on this planet without actually reaching any kind of fulfillment. So at some point, the dream of the Lamborghini just doesn't make sense. The idea of a mansion, the idea of having more than people loses its shine, loses its appeal. And it's not enough to kind of fill that hole that collectively we have all kind of developed over the past decades, especially in this country. The loss of identity, the loss of culture, and the understanding of our real history in this country, the reality of wealth disparity, and the fact that so many millions and millions of people in this country struggle every day while we're trying to achieve a socioeconomically dominant position over them. It's a constant chase for position through the conquest of materialism and the conquest of our own happiness. But it's something that we give up. And it's a hard thing to really come to terms with, especially as you get older.
But I catch myself in a daze majority of the time. I'm just thinking like what am I doing this shit for? What is it for? Like it's just a loop, bro, that I'm keen to seeing it for exactly for what it is, and I just can't stop seeing. I can't stop recognizing the loop that we have to go through over and over and over and over. And it's not a sad feeling. I guess it's kind of a sad feeling, but it's a bitter sweet. It's not even a sweet feeling. It's just a bitter, like unworthy type feeling. Like I know my worth, but it's just I feel unworthy. I don't know if that makes sense.
I think that this is a socially melancholic time. I think it's a time of deep sadness and kind of depression that's taken over our society because America has essentially entered a period of mourning. We're mourning the death of the idea of what we were, the idea of what our country was, the idea of what we thought our lives are supposed to be. And it is exhausting. I personally think that sadness and periods of melancholy are incredibly important because they put things truly into a perspective by taking you out of the place that you're in. It's a moment where you're not there, you're not present, right? You're present, but in a weird way where you're outside yourself, looking at yourself, seeing things clearly in a way that you haven't before. And it can be incredibly cathartic. That catharsis it takes time. Truly, it does. And we haven't gotten there yet because we're still in our mourning period as a nation. And we all know that America has essentially died in a way. The America that we knew and loved and grew up with is gone. Our society has changed fundamentally forever. And the constant pursuit to work more and work harder, put more hours in the day, I think you can only do that for so long before you realize that you only have so many hours in the day. And if you do that same hustle day after day, week after week, month after month, year after year, decade after decade, what you've realized is that you've spent your entire life working to work. Not working to live, but working to work. It's not okay to wake up in the morning, work all day, come home and go to bed. And this is a toxic way for a society to operate. And no healthy society has ever formed off of this kind of economic slavery, at least one that's not good for the people. The economic model that America has is fundamentally oppressive because if you're required to spend your life in this kind of endless mundane loop, just trying to stave off the decay and rot of our nation as it's lying dead and keeping that rot from spreading into your life, it's a fool's mission because at some point it's going to. Whether that's the collapse of the US dollar, whether that's further inflation, whether it's just more and more wealth disparity, and the affordability crisis truly takes off to the point where we just can't work enough to live. At some point, you're not going to be able to stave it off any longer. And that realization puts us in the position where we have to ask ourselves, what is the purpose of this? Why am I doing this? Why am I wasting the days that I have on this planet with my loved ones, with those I care about, with my dog, with my cat, with my friends that I like to yell at while I'm playing video games? Why am I wasting that time that is priceless to me in pursuit of paying a utility bill that they're just going to raise the price on next year? Why? What's the purpose? Where is the sanity in that? The world is being affected by this kind of economic cost of living crisis, inflation thing, right? The entire world is being affected by that. But most of Americans are in denial of how bad it's actually getting here. And it's going to continue to get worse. But society, the government, the wealthy, whoever, they do everything that they can to maintain the appearance that everything's still fine, that better days are just over the horizon. But I've been told that better days are over the horizon my entire life. And that horizon can't be generations from now because we don't have that kind of trust in this system that would necessitate those kind of long-term moves, or at least allow them to be permissible. There's no popular consent to the destruction of our way of life. And that way of life is just kind of a life of basic attainment and peace. Because simply we've had our time stolen from us.
I guess my sense of fulfillment and joy it feels very lost right now. It feels like I'm forcing my way through life as far as like work and as far as like, just trying to survive. It's just a forceful feeling, bro, that I wish I can kick it. I wish I can kick that shit. Like, bro, it's just, I know, does anybody else feel like this? But I know it's probably people out there that feel the exact way I feel. But god damn, it gets to a point I just feel like, fuck, what am I doing this shit for? Like, and how long is it gonna take till I'm satisfied, or how long, if will I ever be satisfied? Shout out to the righteous, everybody operating from the soul, not the ego, man. And I think my soul is really taking over. Like my ego really has no say so anymore.
This is an age where we're experiencing the battle for the soul of this nation. We're all in this battle. We're all struggling together, but at the same time, we can sit back and kind of in our moment of mourning and think that we're isolated, think that we're alone in these feelings, but just have a look around you. Talk to people, see the other videos that are out there where people are being genuine, where people are being authentic. And what does that tell you? It tells you that we're all experiencing kind of this sense of loss with each other in real time, right now, this period. Now, we're all going through this together. And I think that it's important to understand that these are common feelings. They're commonly shared. And that we're told to ignore them, that we're told they're false. But the people who tell us that they're false, that they're wrong, that everything's fine, everything's okay, are the people that will never actually be affected by the decisions that are falling on the heads of people. They're people who don't experience the same lives as 320 million Americans out there. They're people who will never understand what you go through when you wake up in the morning. The thoughts that you have before you go to bed, the stresses and the anxieties, the responsibilities that you have, because the decisions that the wealthy make in America, the decisions of the powerful, they have such large margins for error. But as things get more restrictive in our lives, for most people, the margin of error is razor thin. And it can only be like that for so long before people have just had enough of their life being grinded away and choose to take another path. In this country, you need a lot. It's true. You need a lot just to live, just to exist, just to not be on the street. You need a lot. And there are other countries out there like that, but this is a new age. And they may say that the age of the digital nomad, the age of, people setting up e-businesses, people running their business from a beach somewhere in Indonesia, that those days are over, but it's not true. And America isn't the only place to make money. There's other places out there. And as money becomes worth less and less here, the purchasing power gets lower and lower. At some point, many more countries are going to look a lot more appealing just because you need the same amount of money as you do in America, but at the same time, the reward at the end of the day is much better. Like, look at where I'm at right now, this parking lot. Walking through a parking lot and seeing people is the most interaction that a lot of people in this country actually get. It's the most social interaction that a lot of people get. The hey, how are yous? How much is this? That's it. That's all that they get. That's not a life worth living. That's not a community. Imagine being in a place where you get off work at a reasonable time. You go to a plaza in the middle of a city, middle of a town, middle of a village, whatever, and you see kids playing. You see families outside. You see elderly people walking around, being healthy, thriving with their grandchildren. You see parents happy just in the presence of their family without having to constantly stress, because that same noise, that same stress that, like I said, fills up every silent void that we have in this country isn't there. Right? Traveling will not inherently heal you or fix you, but it's a step in the right direction. Living somewhere outside of America is a step in the right direction of internal healing. I stand by that. And I know that there's a multitude of immigrants and expats out there who will also stand by that statement. So stay strong, keep your head up, understand that you're not alone, that we're all experiencing this kind of deep mourning for our country and our livelihoods, our lifestyles, our dreams together. And that escape is still possible if you'll take it.